Hello, people. I just wanted to say something about the current situation in the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. Recently, we had the Prime Minister deploying the federal forces for an operation in the Tigray region towards the north, with what he described as a specific and achievable operation aimed at precise objectives, which in his view are attainable within a short period of time. As we speak, the information from Ethiopia and the situation remains scanty, especially because the internet and media is restricted, and so there's a lot of rumors and unverified reports that are emerging. But even with this kind of a situation and the uncertainty, there are a few things that we know about this kind of situation. The Tigray People's Liberation Movement or Front, the TPLF as it's called, has been having an issue with the Federal Republic in Addis Ababa, and this follows, months of disagreement in terms of the Prime Minister's attempt to create one party, out of the loose coalition that has been governing Ethiopia since the 90s. Now, the TPLF protested and contested the PM's attempt to create a unitary party. They equally rejected the PM's decision to postpone an election which was supposed to be held this year. They went on to conduct their own regional elections, and they put in place their own leaders, and the federal government in Addis Ababa did not agree with this, and so we saw in the recent months deterioration of relations between the capital, the federal capital that is, and the regional capital in the north of the Tigray region government. Now, this led to a moment where the TPLF decided that they are no longer basically recognizing the leadership of the PM and the federal government following the lapse of his mandate. That's up until the day that the election was supposed to be held. And after this all built up into a lot of exchanges between the federal capital and the TPLF leaders, and up until the situation kind of got out of hand, and then the federal government kind of accused the TPLF of having attacked a military base, the federal military base in the north. And so this led kind of to the tip over into the kind of armed conflict that we see. Now, this conflict is being waged. Let's not be look at it as an Ethiopian issue or problem. I mean, this is a regional problem. Ethiopia is a country of over 100 million people. One of the biggest countries in that region. The Horn of Africa is surrounded by countries that are having conflicts and different levels of their own internal turmoil, with Somalia having been a de facto failed state for the last several years, with Sudan having had its own internal problem, and it's currently on a transitional period, with South Sudan having a civil war that has been that has lasted nearly about 7 or so years, with Kenya battling its own wars with Al-Shabaab and all these kind of things. So we are in a very volatile region and fragile in that matter, and that having Ethiopia, slide into violence really complicates the situation and the dynamics in the region, uh, especially also in relation to the humanitarian aspect of this. So this is not an Ethiopian issue. This is a regional issue. This is an international issue, and that's why some of us have been kind of at least uh, demanding that there is communication so that the people are able to know what is going on, so that we can verify the pieces of information that we are getting, and also so that humanitarian, aid can especially reach the most vulnerable, the people who are being affected. Now, having said that, I think my point was that the way the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has framed this kind of operation makes it look so simple and easier and achievable. But the truth is that a military confrontation with the TPLF is going to be a very complicated problem, especially because the TPLF has fought wars since I think about 1985. So it's a heavily militarized, kind of group which has controlled the Ethiopian military largely since early 90s. They do have expertise. They have controlled the Ethiopian economy pretty much for all these decades. They do have economic muscle. They do have their own networks. They do have the military capability, and they do have an ideology, or at least some conviction that they are kind of pushing. So these kinds of things makes it a little bit complicated to think about them as an easy target that you are going to move in and easily approved, and then that's it. I mean, the most worrying thing is that this kind of reasoning of you will go into Mekele, the capital of the the Tigray region, and simply kind of fix the TPLF, and then boom, finished. You return to Addis Ababa. I think it's a very wrong reasoning, but the internal logic of this kind of reasoning is what led to the failure of Iraq or of Libya, because the whole idea was we go in and get the wrong guy. So the bad guy, Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi, and then that's it. It's never easier. It's not always as simple and straightforward that way, that you can move in, simply pick the wrong guy or the bad guy and maybe kill them or arrest them, and that's it. It doesn't work like that. When you talk about military operation, especially with some of these groups which have claimed their own local, legitimacy at the various levels, it's always very difficult to, deal with them. So this situation is going to be complicated. It's going to be bloody, and we are looking at a possible, I'm really afraid to think about it, that we are possibly staring at a civil war which will destabilize the entire region. That's why I think that the best option to deal with the TPLF issue should be the path of dialogue. The federal government, led by PM Abiy Ahmed, and the TPLF and other factions within Ethiopia, because we do have many other issues that are going on, need to sit back and sit around the table and have conversation about the nature of their republic, of their country, and what it is that they want to achieve together as a people, and how they can organize themselves, learn to coexist, and pursue common objectives as Ethiopians. That is what really is of great importance at the moment. Thank you.